Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar on how to 10x your results. My name is John Pyron. I am the founder and CEO of John Pyron Coaching, and I'm also the founder of the 10x Trainer Mastermind Group, which has 127 trainers from 4 countries around the world. And I'm so excited to be on this webinar today. I've been looking forward to it all week long, primarily because of the information that I'm going to share on this webinar. We got a couple of goals for today. Number one, let me get my screen going here. Number one, we're going to talk about 3 ways to 10x your results. Now, these 3 ways can be applied to any area of your life. And once you apply them and you take action on it, you're going to be able to use these formulas for the rest of your life. Next, I'm going to share with you a strategy called the Baseline 10X Strategy. I originally learned this strategy back in 1992 from a guy named Clark Broom, and I've used it every single year to improve not only in my business and in sales, but in every area of my life. And I'm going to share with you step by step how to not only utilize this strategy, but how to implement it on an ongoing basis so you can see improvement forever in any area of your life that you want to measure. Next, we're going to talk about how to play at a 10x level consistently and persistently, because it's all about consistency over time is what makes results possible no matter what it is that you're trying to do. Now, before I hop into the content, I want to answer 3 questions that I'm sure most of you have going through your mind. I know whenever I hear somebody give a talk from the front of the room or on a webinar, these 3 questions go through my mind as well, and maybe you can relate. Number 1 is, who is this guy? In other words, who is John Pyron? Number 2 is, why should I listen to him on this webinar? And finally, what's in it for me? And those are pretty fair questions, right? You bet. Well, let me see if I can answer these 3 questions real quick by telling you a quick story. I was born at a very early age in a little small town called Dallas, Texas. And in the early 80s, I moved to a Northern California town called Oakland, California. Now, for those of you that don't know the geography, Oakland, California is consistently rated in the top 10 most dangerous cities in America. And my mom moved us here in the early 80s and reunited with my stepfather. And, you know, like any young kid, when their parents are getting back together, you know, that can be a very exciting time. And so if you've ever come from a broken home or any type of challenging family environment, I want you to know right out of the gate that I can relate. And that I totally get it and I totally understand. The challenge is it didn't work out between them. And over the course of a couple of years, it got so bad, both mentally, physically, and everything else that you can think of from a dysfunction standpoint, that by the time I was 17 and a half years old, I chose to live behind this house in an abandoned trailer. And I chose to be homeless versus staying in my home environment. Now, if you've ever been homeless, then I can relate to you. If you've ever struggled at all in life, trust me, I know firsthand experience where you're coming from. But here's the good news. No matter what's gone on in your life, no matter where you're at right now, I want you to know it's not a permanent condition. How do I know this? Because you're on this webinar. And I want you to pat yourself on the back for taking time out to either be on the live webinar with me right now or listening to the recording, because it's one step that you're taking closer towards achieving your dreams and goals. For me, it was meeting this guy right here, a guy named Dave Vanny. And I met Dave back in January of 1991. He was a big deal in the Amway business. He was speaking on stage in front of 15,000 people over here at the time was the Arco Arena in Sacramento, California. And I remember listening to Dave speak on that stage, and I thought, oh my God, man, if I could just learn how to be successful like that. See, I didn't grow up in a home that was very nurturing. I grew up in a home where my mom was a waitress, my dad was a tow truck driver. There was no model of success for me that I could point to. And I was living my life playing those tapes in my head over and over and over again. John, you're never going to amount to anything. John, you're not capable of doing this. John, you dropped out of high school. John, you this, and John, you that. And I don't know if anybody can relate to you, but sometimes our brain can be our worst enemy. And this is the tapes that I was playing in my head until I heard Dave speak on stage that day. And I was very fortunate that in February of 1996, I got an opportunity to coach with this guy one-on-one. And he started speaking some truths into my life that, you know what, John, it doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what type of home you've grown up in. It doesn't matter if you were homeless. What matters is where are you going? And I'm here to tell you right now, you may be on this webinar and it just might be a very thin thread that you're on this webinar. And maybe you didn't grow up in a very stellar home, or maybe you did and you're sitting on hard times right now. And I want you to know it's not a permanent condition. I'm going to share with you some stuff on this webinar today that could possibly change your life. And so I want you to sit back and relax, and no matter what you're going through right now, digest the information. See, that's what Dave did for me. He started, replaying tapes in my mind that I am worth it, that I can accomplish things. And it was through his mentoring. It was through his coaching. It was through joining a mastermind called HTG. It was working with coaches and mentors and having great employees that I was able to go from being homeless at age 17 and a half to being the CEO of $1 million company. I built this company from zero, from $10,000 that I borrowed from my mother-in-law back in January of 2006. And in 3 years, I built it to $1 million. Now, I'm not showing this slide to say, hey, look at me, I'm a big deal. What I am saying is if you look back, I was homeless behind this house. And through coaching, through mentoring, through training, through books, through tapes, through association, through getting the right information into my head, I was able to accomplish a goal that only most people dream about. And so why should you listen to me? Well, I'm going to share with you some key concepts, some key ideas, some strategies that I used to build a business from scratch. And I can guarantee you in those 3 years, I went through challenges. I went through hard times. I went through obstacles that I had to overcome. And had I not had the right mindset, had I not had the drive and ambition, there's no way in heck I could have accomplished this goal. June 1st, 2013, I sold this company for a nice, handsome profit to a national company, and I decided, you know what? I am going to have fun coaching and training business owners and salespeople around the world. And this was the third company I had built. And so I came up with this tagline, which is eliminating the frustrations of owning a business. And that's become my new tagline in my business. And one of the things I get to do all the time is I get to coach people one-on-one on how to build a business, how to get unstuck where they're at. So many business owners that I run across, they don't want to work for somebody, but yet they've worked themselves into a situation where they basically own their own job. And if that's you, I want to definitely congratulate you for being on today's webinar, because I'm going to give you some ideas to help you get unstuck. If you're in sales and you're not the top dog on your sales team, I'm going to give you some ideas that can propel you to the point where you can become the top dog. Because let's face it, unless you're the lead dog in the pack, the view is always the same. Next, the reason you should listen to me is 127 people in 4 different countries around the world have entrusted me to coach and train them in a mastermind setting on how to be professional business owners, coaches, speakers, and trainers. And I'm going to share with you some of the top golden nuggets I share with this group on a regular basis. If you're a speaker, if you're a trainer, if you're a coach, and you're looking to join a mastermind club, send me a private message and I'll give you the details on how you join this group for free. Last but not least, I teamed up with a guy named Grant Cardone. Now, I chose to team up with Grant Cardone because Grant Cardone is the top trainer in the world. He's the top business and sales expert around the world. Nobody has been able to create more successful business owners and salespeople in the last 10 years than Grant Cardone. Not Tony Robbins, not Zig Ziglar, not anybody. Grant Cardone dominates that space. And I'm fortunate enough to be an exclusive partner in the Northern California area representing Grant Cardone's brand, and being able to be mentored and coached by Grant is so phenomenal. And I'm going to share with you a way to get coached and trained by Grant as well on today's webinar. Now, what's in it for you? Well, I have 2 outcomes for today's webinar. Number 1 is I'm going to share with you some ideas that you're going to be able to implement to 10x your results. Not continue to get the same results you've been getting. I'm talking about stepping the game up. I'm talking about getting better results out of your business, getting better results out of your marriage, getting better results out of your health and fitness, getting better results out of your spiritual life. Because, see, I can come on this webinar, I can share with you detail after detail on how to generate more leads, how to generate more income, how to better your business. But if we don't deal with the whole part of you, you're not going to have joy and happiness. And I want you to be joyous. I want you to be happy. And we're going to share with you ideas on today's webinar that you're going to be able to implement in every area of your life to have a full life, to live life and to live it abundantly, because that's what it's about. At the very end of the webinar today, I am going to share with you an invitation to an exclusive program that we've created called the 90-Day 10X Sprint. This program has been designed to take any individual, no matter what level you're operating at, whether you're a high performer or you're just getting started. The whole program is designed to step your game up over the next 90 days to be better than it's ever been in your life. And not only that, but the information that you're going to learn over that 90 days will serve you for the rest of your life. Now, I want you to be expecting a breakthrough on this webinar. In fact, the information I'm going to share with you has the potential to create a breakthrough in your mindset that can result in a permanent change in the way you go about getting results. And so with that said, let's hop right on into the content. And there's basically 3 ways to 10x your results. There's probably 1,000 different ways, but when you take all of the different ways that you can increase results, more leads, more appointments, going to, putting more time in your faith, whatever it is that you're trying to increase, there's basically 3 ways to do it. Number 1 is the inner game. That has to do with your mindset, your attitude, how we approach life. What is our outlook on life? What is our mindset like? And we're going to talk about that. Number 2 is the outer game, and that has to do with your systems, your goal setting, your time management, your database. The thing that you wear on your wrist that counts the number of steps you take if you're monitoring your health, your diet plan. It's the outer game. It's the systems. And then finally, you can have the best mindset on the planet. You can have the best systems in place. You can have all of your ducks lined up in a nice 1, 2, 3 order. But if you can't get your butt to take action on a daily basis and be consistent about it and persistent, I can tell you right now, you're not going to get the results that you're capable of getting. So let's hop right into it. Let's talk about the inner game. And one of my favorite topics, and one of the most important topics in my opinion that we can talk about when it comes to the inner game, has to do with mindset. And one of the mindsets of a champion is that there's always room to grow. Now, if you and I were in an auditorium and I was speaking to you face to face in front of the room, I would ask you, okay, how many of you in here believe that one of the mindsets of a champion is that there's always room to grow by a show of hands, and every single person's hand would go up? But here's the more important question. How many of you believe that you have potential inside of you to perform at a higher level than the level you're currently performing at? See, I don't care if you're Michael Jordan. It doesn't matter if you are holding a sign on the street corner or anybody in between, whether you're Bill Gates or the late Steve Jobs. We all have room to grow, and we all have potential inside of us to get better. In fact, speaking of Michael Jordan, one of my favorite stories about mindset is about this man. And one of the things about Michael Jordan is it's not that he was an exceptionally talented athlete, which is true. I mean, in order to even play in the NBA, you have to be great. But one of the things that made Michael Jordan so great was the fact that he always had a desire to constantly get better. It didn't matter that he was number one. It didn't matter that nobody could touch him. It didn't matter he was setting records that would never be broken again for a long time. He still had a heart's desire to always want to get better. And here's my number one tip for you today. One of the things I learned from watching Michael Jordan play was he never competed against someone else. He always competed against himself during the off season. It was always a focus on wanting to get better, right? There was nobody to compete against. He was number one. And he had a constant desire. And one of the true stories is every off season, he would hire a coach or work with a certain set of trainers that would push him far beyond where he thought he was capable of going. And he would focus on one aspect of his game. And so one summer he would focus on his left hand. And that's all he would do the entire summer would be to focus on his left hand. And then the next summer, working with some additional trainers, having them push him beyond where he was capable of going, he would work on his strength training, taking in that one more rep, pushing himself beyond where he thought he was capable of going. And it was that discipline, it was that focus that made Michael Jordan great. But that's Michael Jordan. What about you and I? How many of us continually compare ourselves with someone else, but yet we lack the focus and lack the knowledge that, you know what, the only person we should be comparing ourselves to is to us, is to what we did yesterday. I can tell you right now, here's a number one tip for you gaining happiness and joy in your life. Stop comparing yourself to someone else and start comparing yourself to you. What is your potential? What are you capable of doing? In other words, what is your one thing? What is the one thing you do so well that nobody else could even touch? What is that one natural gift and talent that you have that if you focused your time, energy, and effort on working on that versus trying to compete against someone else, what is that one thing that would make you stand out way head and shoulders above the rest? See, we all have unique gifts and talents, but it's a mindset. It's a mindset to always want to get better is what we all crave. I guarantee you this, if you take this one principle and apply it, it'll make all the difference in your life. If you're trying to improve by yourself, if you're trying to go at it alone, here's a news flash for you. Your very best has gotten you where you're at right now. And if you're completely 100% satisfied with where you're at in every area of your life, then just turn off the webinar right now. There's no reason to continue to watch this because you have arrived. But I know this, you're just like me. You're just like everybody else that I work with and coach. You're just like Michael Jordan. There's always room to grow. And so my encouragement to you is stop comparing yourself to someone else and start focusing on what your unique talent is, what your unique gift is. Go out and find a mentor. Go out and find a trainer. Go out and find a coach that will push you that one extra mile to help you get the best out of you. A good tool that you can implement right away to help you out with is go out to the Amazon.com. Go out and buy this book right here. This book is called The One Thing. It's by a guy named Gary Keller. And it's actually a really simple concept of focusing on one thing that you're exceptionally talented and good at. And he gives you some step-by-step principles in there on what you can do to take action to where you can focus on your unique one gift and talent and thereby make a huge step, a huge change in your personal life. And here's success principle number 1. Readers are leaders. The average person reads about 1 book a year. The average CEO reads about 60 books a year. No wonder there's a reason the top CEOs make anywhere from 400 to 500% more income than the lowest guy in the company. It's because they are constantly putting in their mindset positive input, positive information. They're just constantly putting new ideas into their head and then taking action on those ideas. Another thing the top CEOs do is they coach with someone. They don't try to go it alone. They surround themselves with the right association. And so here's the key takeaway. Add a reading program to your daily routine. My advice would be to 10 to 15 pages a day out of a book such as this one. This is a really good book to start with. And then you can text me or email me. I actually send out a book of the month through one of my programs that I teach and train on. And we're on a monthly book reading program. And as a result, we're all constantly growing. Another thing you can do is add some positive audio programs to your daily digestion. Taking at least 30 minutes of positive audio. A really good audio to get is called The 10X Rule. It's by Grant Cardone. Get the audio version. It's almost like listening to a seminar. That audio will change your life. I mean, you can't go through that without taking more action. And then finally, watch your association. If you want to be a car thief, hang out with a car thief. If you want to be a millionaire, hang out with a millionaire. And there's a key message there. Clark Broom told me in 1992, you know what, John, you'll be 5 years from now a direct result of the books you read, the audios and videos that you pump into your head, and the association that you hang out with. And you know what? He is so right. There is no way I could have gone from being homeless, and then ultimately I was a gas station attendant when I started building my first business. And next thing you know, I'm a CEO of $1 million company. I did that because of those 3 things. So if you get nothing else out of today's webinar, the most important thing is to guard your mindset. And so that's the inner game. Now let's talk about the outer game. And one of my favorite strategies as it relates to the outer game, as it relates to putting a system that you can do consistently is a strategy called baseline strategy. Now, I call it the baseline 10x strategy because the way I'm going to have you apply this strategy could 10 times your result. And so everyone listening to this webinar, either on the live webinar right now or listening to the recording, all of us have a baseline in terms of the results that we're producing, no matter what area of our life we want to measure, whether it be our spiritual life, whether it be our health and fitness, whether it be our marriage, whether it be the relationships we have with our kid, whether it be our job, our business, our sales results, our income, our finances, whatever area of our life we want to see an improvement of, it all starts with taking a measurement, and we call that baseline. So let's say that you're earning, let's just take money as our example. So I can give you an idea of how this strategy works, because I want you to be able to apply this strategy to any area of your life. This one strategy, if you implement it, will just do this for the rest of your life and you will see a consistent improvement. And so here's how it goes. Let's say you're earning $5,000 a month right now in income. Well, your baseline would be the $5,000. What's also included in your baseline is every single thing that you did to earn the $5,000. The phone calls you made, the appointments that you ran, the amount of business that you closed, the follow-up calls, it's everything. The strategy is this. Sit down, measure everything that you did to earn the $5,000, and then do this. Continue to do what you've been doing because it's producing a positive result. And then through my advice, through one-on-one coaching or mentoring, you can add something to your baseline. Our brains are designed to answer any question that we ask it. So ask yourself a question right now. What is one thing that you can add to your baseline that you're not already doing, but if you added it today, would produce a better result? Take a second and write that down, what that is. What's that one thing that you can add? Maybe it's making more phone calls. Maybe it's, staying a little bit later. Maybe it's getting up an hour earlier. Maybe you're wanting to improve your health, so maybe it's one less soft drink a year, or one less soft drink a week, I should say, right? And so you can add something to your baseline. The other thing you can do is you can subtract something from your baseline. And so sometimes the best thing to do, and a lot of times it takes coaching and mentoring to discover this, is we might be doing something that's not producing the result. And simply subtracting that will free us up to add something more productive to our baseline. The next thing you can do is you can modify or improve something in your baseline. And so through one-on-one coaching or counseling, I look at my baseline on a monthly basis in the following areas: my faith, my family, my finances, my business, with my friends, with my health, and ultimately with my fun. I measure all those areas every single month, and I run this strategy, and the only thing I look for is, okay, what is one thing I can add this next month? Is there anything that's not working that I need to subtract? And is there anything that I can improve on? And I make a list, a goal list for the month, if you will. Now, here's the key takeaway. Sit down and do this every month. You're going to be amazed. I always pick the last day of the month. In fact, I formed a Facebook group called the Clean Slate Club. I don't have a slide on it, but if you go to Facebook and you look up Clean Slate Club in capital letters, you'll see a picture of Clean Slate Club, and there's like 700, I think we're almost up to 800 members now. And the last day of every month, I do a free guest speaker motivational talk on basically inner game, outer game action for the month. you're more than welcome to join the group. The only requirement for membership is that you have a positive attitude. You want to improve your life. And so go look us up on there, and then we'll add you to the group. But let's talk about adding something to your baseline. I want to give you something that you can implement right away to make a big difference. So I want you to go out to 10xplanner.com. That's 10xplanner.com. And when you go there, or actually if you want to help me out, you can actually use my affiliate link if you want. You can use Cardone, that's C-A-R-D-O-N-E, .johnpyron.com. And you can go through there and find the 10X Planner, and then I'll get credit for your purchase. Otherwise, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter which way you go. Just get this planner. This planner will change your life. I've used a lot of planning systems in my day. I originally started off with the Franklin Planner back in 1990, and I switched to a day runner, and then I switched to some software, and then I switched to my Outlook calendar, and then I recently switched to this planner, and I got to tell you, this is the best planning system I've used in the last 24 years. And basically it consists of these components. So whatever planning system you have right now, you can add these components to your existing planning system, and this is going to be adding it to your baseline. You will see an improvement in your results. Number one, if you want to 10x your outer game, write down your goals on a daily basis, not once a year. Most people write their goals once a year. I want you to write down your goals. I want you to take massive 10x levels of action here. Write down your goals on a daily basis. Pick 5 goals. Here's what I want you to do. It's very specific. Move at the speed of instruction, and you will change your life. Write down 5 of your top goals that you're going for. They can be lifetime goals. They can be yearly goals. They can be monthly goals. They can be daily goals. Whatever it's going to take to get you fired up. And I want you to write them down in present positive statements as if you have already achieved it. So if you want to earn $10,000 a month in income, you would write the goal down as, I now earn $10,000 a month. And so pick 5 goals that you specifically want to laser focus on that day. Number 2, I want you to create a quote for your day. And ask yourself this question: what am I going to stand for today? What am I, again, not comparing yourself to anybody else, what do you want to personally stand for today? Next, I want you to write specific targets. I want you to list out 6 targets, 6 daily targets, and each one of the targets has to be tied to one of the goals that you wrote down. So what is one thing that you can do today that will move you one step closer towards hitting that goal? Next is I want you to create a daily plan of action. So once you've written your goals down, once you've decided what you're going to stand for that day, once you've identified 6 specific targets that you're targeting for that day, I want you to create a plan of action on how to hit the targets. So if your goal is to earn $10,000 a month in income and you're at $5,000 and you're in commission sales, right? Then a specific daily target would be, I need to set so many appointments today. Because without appointments being set, you can't run appointments, you can't increase your income. So one of the specific daily targets might be set 3 new appointments. And so what you would put in your daily plan of action is, what time today am I going to make phone calls to set up appointments? And I would encourage you to time block. That's why I like the 10X Planner, because on the left side it has time blocks, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and 9 p.m. and later, and you can put those actions, those plan of action items into those time blocks. The other thing I want you to do as you go throughout your day, or at the end of the day, I want you to summarize your successes for the day. So you took action today. They were specific actions towards your targets, towards your goals. Man, list off your successes. See, the biggest reason people aren't consistent is because they don't celebrate their wins. They don't have enough success towards the goal, and so it's easy to give up on the goal because they know in their heart of hearts they're not taking action towards the goal. That ends for you right now. I want you to take 10x massive levels of actions towards your goals. And when you do that, your self-esteem is going to get better. Your confidence level is going to go through the roof. You're going to be able to play at a high level consistently because you can't wait for the next day. And then last but not least, before you go to bed at night, I want you to write down your goals again. And that's literally the makeup of the 10X Planner. There's sections in there that force you to do this activity on a daily basis for a 90-day cycle. Because any of us can be consistent for 90 days if we have some tools and some systems in place for doing so. When you write down your goals at night, here's what I want you to do differently. Again, if your goal was to earn $10,000 a month, now what I want you to write down is, now that I earn $10,000 a month, I'm able to go to the mall more often. I'm able to go travel more often. I'm able to go to Hawaii more often. Tie it to a benefit of why you want the goal. And that's going to be your sleeping pill for tonight. Now, think about this. Is this a lot of work? You bet it is. It is a 10x plan of action for sure. But think about the alternative. The alternative is you can continue to get the same results you've been getting for the rest of your life. Or you can take some new action and change your future forever. See, this is what people like Michael Dell do. This is what people like Bill Gates do. This is what Steve Jobs did to build Apple. This is what, Will Smith did. This is what Michael Jordan did. You name the professional athlete, you name the success story, and I can tell you they took massive amounts of action, and it became a lot easier once it became a habit. That's why I want you to do this for 90 days. Again, if you need help, get the 10X Planner. Go 10x10xplanner.com, order it up, and to hold yourself accountable, commit to do it right now. You don't need to go do it right now, but I want you to commit to do it, and then text me or call me and let's say, hey, I got the 10X Planner. Thanks a lot for the recommendation. That's the only thing I want. Whether you use my affiliate link or not, it doesn't really matter. This planner will change your life. I know it will change your life because this guy right here, Grant Perry, has been in sales for 43 years. Grant's 63 years old right now. He lives out of Tampa, Florida. I introduced Grant. He's a client of mine. I introduced Grant has been the CEO of 5 Fortune 500 companies. Grant's no stranger to success. Grant teaches me a thing or two from time to time. But Grant understands, even at the top of his game, that there's always room to grow and there's always room to get better. And I'll never forget, he started using the 10X Planner on September 1st of 2013, and he called me up a couple weeks later and he goes, this planner is kicking my ass, man. I have never had to do this much work in such a short amount of time. He says, but you know what's interesting is it's becoming a habit, and I'm more clear on my goals today than I have ever been. I'm more fired up at 63 years old than I've ever been in my life. Why? Because he's focused on competing against himself. See, this planner this system forces you to compete against yourself. So I think I've said enough about the 10X Planner. Whether you use the 10X Planner or you continue to use your own system, add those components to your system and watch your results skyrocket. So that's the inner game, that's the outer game. Let's talk about taking action. And so here's a question for you. What level are you playing at? And one of the things that I do tomorrow, in fact, tomorrow I'm going to go and deliver a front of the room talk for a mortgage company. And there's going to be about 30 people there. And they're going to be, the average person in the room has been a mortgage loan officer for 10 years. Very experienced group of people. When I get there, I'm going to ask this question at the end of my talk. I'm going to ask them, what level are you playing at? And then I'm going to do an exercise with them. I'm going to say, okay, and I want you to kind of play along with me right now as if you're in front of the room. I'm going to say good afternoon or good, actually I'm speaking to them in the afternoon. So I'm going to say good afternoon. And I want you to respond back to me at a level 6 in terms of energy and enthusiasm and say good afternoon. And so I'll say good afternoon, they'll say good afternoon. And then I'll say, okay, let's play at a level 8. A little bit more energy, a little bit more enthusiasm, give it a little bit more effort. Let's go for it. Good afternoon. Then they're going to say good afternoon at a higher level. And then I'm going to demonstrate to them what a level 10 is. It's the full-out version. It is giving it every single thing you've got. That is leaving it all on the field. Nothing left. I remember Michael Jordan, his the fourth game of the NBA Finals one year. He was playing with a 102-degree temperature. He had the flu. They ended up winning the game by a couple of points. When the game was over and the final buzzer sound, Michael Jordan literally collapsed on the floor. He had to be carried off because he left it all on the field. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about playing at a level 10. And so I'll stand up and I'll yell to the top of my lungs, good afternoon, everyone, and they'll respond and they'll go crazy. And then they'll sit down and then I'm going to ask them this question. And I'm asking you this same question. Over the last 30 days, as you've been showing up on a daily basis, what level have you been playing at? If you're a loan officer, a loan officer. If you're a salesperson, a salesperson. If you're a business owner, a business owner. If you're a husband, a husband. What level have you been playing at over the last 30 days? And see, the thing about work, what's interesting about work is some of us play at a high level in our jobs or our businesses all the time. You can't even look at some people. It's like, okay, what's the big deal? I play at a high level all the time. Why do you think I'm successful, John? Until I ask this question. Okay, you're playing great at work. Let me ask you this question. Over the last 30 days, as you've been showing up in your key relationships, if you're married, your spouse, or significant other, what about your kids? What about your friendships? What about the relationships with those that are closest to you? What level have you been playing at? And I'm asking you that question right now in this webinar. What level have you been playing at? Be honest with yourself. The only way we can improve as human beings is if we're honest with ourselves. Change begins with honesty. What about your health and fitness? What levels have you been playing at? And then I asked the question at the very beginning of the webinar, how many of you believe that you have potential inside of you to perform at a higher level than the level you're currently performing at? If so, what level are you playing at reaching your potential? And this is not a question of beating you up. Heck, man, I could always improve in any of these areas. But it's important for me to constantly want to get better. Now, who decides what level we play at? That's right, we do. And in order to play at a higher level, you basically got to get yourself to do two things. Number one is expand your comfort zones. Get outside of your comfort zone. Too many people want to stay in their nice, comfortable spot. But you got to expand your comfort zones, and that's where having a coach or a mentor or somebody to work with, somebody being part of a team is very helpful because it's scary expanding your comfort zones. I'm constantly trying to expand my comfort zones, which means I'm in a constant state of fear from time to time because I never want to stay in the spot that I'm at. Next, you got to get yourself to take some new action. And so what are some of the new actions that you can take? Well, we talked about it on the baseline strategy. There's some new actions that you can take there. One of the new actions that you can take today is you can join us in a program we call the 10X 90-Day Sprint. Now, let me explain to you what I mean by the 10X 90-Day Sprint. So I'm going to share with you the details of this program, and if it's for you, great. If it's not, hey, enjoy the stuff that you learned on the webinar, apply it to your life, and it'll make all the difference in the world. But if you really want to step your game up, if you really want to play at a very high level, this program, I believe, is one of the best designed programs ever to exist. Over a 90-day period of time, no matter what level you're playing at right now, you will play at a higher level, not only once, but consistently, and you're going to have tools in place that you can apply for the rest of your life. Now, it's not just me. I've teamed up with 3 other people that are going to coach and mentor you over the next 90 days. And these people have been very, very successful in every area of their life. The first one is Grant Cardone. We have modeled this 10X 90-day sprint after one of his best-selling books and programs called the 10X Rule. And what Grant's going to do over the next 90 days through that program, through the 10X Rule program, is he's going to mentor you to play at a very high level. Grant Cardone is the CEO of Cardone Training Technologies, Cardone Group, Cardone Real Estate. He's an international best-selling author. He's a business and sales expert. Look him up on the web. He is unbelievably motivating. But more importantly, he lives what he talks about. When I talk about mentoring with people, that's what I'm talking about, is mentoring with people that can help you get to where you want to go. Next, I myself am going to lead some weekly training calls and some group coaching programs, some mastermind programs to help you play at a high level, to take what you're learning in the 10X Rule and actually apply it, to hold you accountable. I would imagine, if you're like me, I've invested literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in seminars and programs and books and tapes and audios. Some of them have sat on the shelf, and some of them I have implemented. The ones that I've implemented, it's because I had somebody pushing me, and that's what we wanted to create with this program. Next is Grant Perry. Grant Perry is the CEO of Grant Perry Coaching. He's been a 5-time Fortune 500 CEO, 43 years in sales and business. He's now a coach, and he's a sales and business expert out of Tampa, Florida. And he's going to be one of the mentors in the 10X 90-day sprint that's going to hold you accountable, that's going to give you the best training, the best mindset that you can possibly have over the next 90 days. And then finally, John Kramer. John Kramer is the CEO of Kramer Consulting Group out of San Diego, California. John's been in sales and business for over 18 years. He's an entrepreneur coach. He's a real estate broker, a mortgage broker. He is one of the top financial whizzes when it comes to the real estate business. When it comes to business in general, from performance and profit standpoint. And John's going to be sharing the best of the best of the best on how to make your business more profitable over the next 90 days. Now, when you look at this, all 4 of us combined, Grant has over 30 years. I have over 24 years. Grant Perry has over 43 years. John has over 18 years. Combined 110 years of business experience and success. Now, what would you expect to pay for a program like this? Well, for me, I didn't even have anywhere near this program when I was building this company right here. But I can tell you right now what I paid. I paid about $36,000 a year to be a part of a program called HTG. which stands for Heartland Technology Group. And basically, it was a group of 12 CEOs, and we met every quarter. We bounced ideas off of one another. We met for 2.5 days. We shared ideas and strategies for improving our businesses. The top person in the group had a $19 million company. The lowest person in the group was my company, which we were earning $1 million a year. And we masterminded with each other. We shared ideas with one another. We shared challenges that we were having, obstacles that we were facing. We laid out a step-by-step plan on how to go to battle and win. And that's the structure we're providing over the next 90 days is you're going to be a part of an exclusive club. And it's not going to cost you $36,000. See, I had to pay $36,000 because I wanted to ensure that I hit this goal right here. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm going to share with you all the stuff I learned by paying that $36,000, not to mention the hundreds of other thousands of dollars I've spent. And with these people, over $1 million invested in training and teaching and coaching, we're going to give it all to you for a price of $1,495, which is nothing compared to what you're going to get. In fact, when we were determining, okay, we're going to have to deliver 10 to 20 times the value is what our goal is. We want to give you over the next 90 days information, strategies, and ideas that you can implement and benefit from for the rest of your life. But here's the good news. For the next 2 weeks, okay, and this is going to be on the honesty policy, we're going to be given a discount on this because we're starting a new cycle. The first of the month, we start a brand new cycle. We start a new group every single month. And if you're watching this video, you can either join the current cycle 1 week into it, or you can wait till the next cycle happens, which is on the first of every month. Okay? And if you sign up early, you get a discount. Okay? So what's included? Let's talk about what's included. Well, the 10X Rule Package is the foundational component of this program. It's by Grant Cardone, and you're going to get the 10X Planner. You're going to get the 10X Rule in book form. You're going to get the 10X Rule on audio, which the 10X Rule on audio compared to the book is night and day different. There's a lot more content on the 10X Rule. It's almost like Grant doing a seminar. It's very motivational, very content rich. You cannot go through this program without being changed. And of course, the 10X Rule water bottle is so you can drink lots of water and remind yourself to perform at a higher level. Next is myself, John Creamer, and Grant Perry are going to tag team, and we're going to lead a weekly 10X live training call every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And if you can't make the live call, no problem. We are recording it. And you can get the live call on recording. We're going to be teaching a lot about the 10X Rule and actually how to actually implement it. And you're going to be able to do it step by step. So it's almost like going back to school. So you can get the 10X package all by yourself and try to implement it. Or you can do and mastermind with people that have implemented it, give you some tips and tricks that you can use in the real world today and have a lot better chance of success. It's like when I joined HTG. I could have just went and got the materials, but it was the mentoring, it was the bouncing ideas off of 11 other CEOs that gave me the success. Next, we're going to record every single weekly training module. And so at the end of the 90-day cycle, we're going to be packaging all 12 recorded training modules and providing it in a keepable form, something you can use and benefit from for the rest of your life. So you're going to be able to take those modules and use them forever. And you can repeat the cycle as often as you want. Every 90 days is going to be different because as we all grow, the content improves. Next, every single week we have a live 10X group coaching call. Now we limit each group to 12 people, just like it was with an HTG. We have 12 people that are all part of a group. and we can mastermind on certain ideas. You can share any business challenges that you have, any ideas or feedback that you're getting from the 10X rule, any challenges that you're having, obstacles that you're facing. You can get live coaching from not only myself or Grant Perry or John Kramer, but anybody else on the call that has experienced what you're going through. So you're going to be a part of the team. This is huge, absolutely huge for your success. Last is a private 10X Facebook group. This gives you 24-hour access to everybody in your group. You can bounce ideas off of one another, share your wins, share your successes. And as a result, you're going to be able to 10X your results over the next 90 days. But more importantly, you're going to be able to do this for the rest of your life. You're going to develop a way of clearly defining your unique purpose. You're going to be able to clearly define your goals. You're going to clearly define your 10X level plan of action. And you're going to clearly define what your unique daily targets are for you to hit your plan, to hit your goals, and to achieve your purpose. But most importantly, what you're going to achieve over the next 90 days is you're going to develop a habit of taking massive amounts of action, more action than you're taking right now. You're going to start getting more results than you've ever gotten in your life, and it's going to become a habit. Now, I've got a bonus if you sign up today. Now, if you're on the live webinar, sign up today. If not, and you're listening to the recording, this is going to be based on the honesty policy. Okay? So if you watch this webinar and you sign up today, I'm going to give you the following two bonuses. Number one is I'm going to allow you to add a family member at no additional charge. Now, why am I doing that? Because I can't think of a more fun experience than to go through this program with another family member. Nobody knows us better than our family members. But wouldn't it be exciting that if you're married to go through this with your spouse or significant other? If you have a brother or sibling, wouldn't it be exciting to go through this program with somebody you care about the most and you both are able to bounce ideas off of one another? But more importantly, what I do know is true competition where it's really deep-seated emotion sometimes is with family members. And so you're going to be able to add an additional family member at no additional charge. Next, I'm going to give you a personal one-on-one coaching session, either with myself, with Grant Perry, or with John Kramer. And we're going to be able to look at your unique situation and tell you exactly how you're going to get the most out of this program over the next 90 days and give you some ideas to immediately be able to be applied to your unique situation. Now, I mentioned that we're going to have an irresistible offer. And so here's the deal. If you're, right now, you're watching this live webinar. We are 1 week away from starting a new cycle. And so we always look to pre-fill the cycle before it starts. And so in order to do that, we give an early bird discount. And the early bird discount is this. For $995, you can get going in this program on the next cycle. If $995 is too much for you to come out of pocket, no problem. We'll break it down into 3 equal monthly payments of $395. Now, that's a little bit more than $995, but we want you to be able to access this information. We want you to be able to participate. And if you can't find $395 to invest in yourself, then you need to ask yourself a very tough question. Why not? Why are you not worth the change? Why are you not worth the effort? You're not going to get a program like this anywhere else. I guarantee it. Not with this amount of experience, with these combined teachers and trainers and the information you're going to get. And you know what? You're worth it. And if you're sitting on the fence right now, maybe I should do this, maybe I should not do it, just do it. Take action. Be known as a person that takes action. Now, how do you register? Well, you go to 10x90.johnpyron.com. So it's a secure site, HTTPS is in Sam, colon, //10x90.johnpyron.com. And you can register there. If you want to do the payment plan, simply send me an email and I'll send you the payment plan form. But if you're ready to rock and roll right now, man, go make it happen. And on the next cycle, I guarantee you, you're going to see a major difference. Now, if you register in the next 10 minutes, this is cool. Check this out. If you register in the next 10 minutes, you're going to get 3 one-on-one coaching sessions. And here's how that's going to work. You're going to get a coaching session from me. You're going to get a coaching session from Grant Perry. You're going to get a coaching session from John Kramer. So you're going to have a combined 80 years of experience being applied to your unique situation. I guarantee you that is a $750 value, number one. And I guarantee you you're going to get some ideas that are going to revolutionize and change your life forever. Again, if you want to register, go to 10x90.johnpyron.com. And let me close with this one thought. And it goes like this. Whether you sign up today or not, you're going to pay either way. The investment today is $9.95. But there's also a cost for not signing up in this program. And that is simply this. You can continue to get the same results you've been getting for the rest of your life. Or you can invest in this program and you can go to work. It is a lot of work. I will not lie to you. It is a lot of work. And you will stretch yourself more than you've ever stretched yourself over the next 90 days. That is the way we designed it because we want to have a permanent impact and a permanent change in your life. Not just one time. We want you to benefit from this for the rest of your life. And I'll tell you this. I'll give you my personal guarantee. If you show up to every call every week, you show up to every group coaching session or listen to the recording, if you do all the work that I'm talking about, if you can show me your 10X planner and that you did it for 90 days and you're not totally convinced that you received the value, I'll give you a full refund. I am that confident in this program. It took years, took 24 years to develop this program, and I can tell you right now, this is exactly what I've done to create multiple million-dollar businesses, and the same thing with both Grants and the same thing with John Kramer. It's up to you at this point to take action. I hope you choose success. If you need to get a hold of me for any reason, go to my website, johnpyron.com, or you can contact me at that phone number or that email address, which is 916-765-2596 or jpyron@johnpyron.com. Only you can motivate you. Only you can make a difference and change your life. I encourage you to change your life. You're worth it. Go out and make it happen. And it was a pleasure having you on today's webinar. Talk to you later. Have a great one.